G'day, mate. We're gonna go out and catch us some Tasmanian devils. Let's go see if we can find one. Wait a minute. This isn't Tasmania. We're in Schoolcraft, Michigan. This is my old stomping ground. It's where I was raised. I grew up here. We're up here on a little family vacation for the 4th of July. I've got my 15-year-old daughter Emma with me and her buddy Ava. Ava's running the GoPro right now. We're staying with my in-laws, and my brother-in-law's got this beautiful farm with this fantastic farm pond loaded with big bass and bluegill. And we've been out here catching fish all week. So we thought we'd see if we could come out here first thing this morning. This is my first cast. We're gonna see if we can't put a fish on the line, and we'll teach you a little something about largemouth bass and what it is they do that makes them such successful predators. What's so fascinating about this place, at least for me, is the fact that I used to ride my bike to this pond when I was like 10 years old. And I used to work for this farm for like 12 years of my life. Every summer we'd spend time working in the cornfields for this farm. So to be here 35 years later, catching fish with my girls, it's full circle. It's everything coming full circle. It's also great for me because as a fish functional morphologist now, where I'm actually studying how fish catch and kill each other all the time, this is one of those things that really shaped my career path. Spending time on the water, chasing bass, and even if it's just in a farm pond like this, still never gets old. Yeah, the excitement that these girls get, and me, but it's so much fun watching the kids. And I'm not ashamed to admit, even though I've got a PhD in fish functional morphology, just about every time I fish with Emma, she outfishes me. So we're out here first thing in the morning because bass, like most carnivorous fish predators, are what's called crepuscular. They like to feed at dawn and dusk when the daylight gives them some cover, or they'll change from dark to day, or from nighttime to daytime, or daytime to nighttime, back and forth. That twilight zone where prey just can't see perfectly is a great time for bass to be sneaking around the pond. And everyone we've caught has had a great big fat belly, so we know they're feeding really well. And like I said, I've been fishing this pond for 35 years. It's always been an absolutely phenomenal place to catch fish. I'm on my 4th cast now this morning, which is more than I've taken any day so far, which is typical for time on a camera. But we'll see if we can't get somebody to come over and investigate. There's a tail biter. There's another tail biter. There he is. Yeah, there we go. Come on, jump, jump. Oh yeah. This never gets old. And right to the weeds. That's what they do. Come on. That's what we're after right there. Largemouth bass. You can see why they get their name. That fish is only 15 inches long. Let me get these pliers out. Look at that. So he's only 15 inches long, but look at that mouth. The mouth is over 3 inches wide. They can inhale whatever they decide to eat. If we look at them in profile, the mouth's as big as the head. So largemouth bass is very aptly named. And I'll show you something fascinating for me as a functional morphologist. Watch this kinesis. This is what facilitates mouth opening. All I've got to do is lift his head up And when I do, the entire thing expands and explodes. So what's really cool about this is you think about all the muscle on their back that we like to eat. That's the fillet. That muscle's pulling on the back of the skull. And when it lifts the skull up, all of this stuff just explodes wide open. Then the sides flare out wide open. And the floor of the mouth drops out underneath. Hugely expansive buccal cavity to capture whatever's trying to get away from them. Great predators. Have been transplanted all over the world very successfully. They're just fun to catch. Great time. Pretty much any angler's an armchair ecologist, right? You got somebody that's learning a tremendous amount about a particular organism, their feeding habits, their reproductive habits, their migratory habits, and then you put that organism out in the nature, in the wild, in nature, where it's expected to survive, and it's pitted against all these challenges like competing for food, outrunning predators, being successful against disease, finding a mate and having babies, and then protecting those genes of their offspring. So the guys may not admit it, and the girls, wherever they are, but anglers really become armchair ecologists. They're just really focused on their particular species. And there's a whole lot of bass fisher people. So this is one of those species that's got a great amount of attention and billions of dollars spent every year chasing them around. We could get that kind of enthusiasm for species that are endangered. Think of the difference we could make on the planet. If people cared that much about endangered species to spend that kind of time and money and energy in protecting them, we'd be in a lot better place right now. But this is where it starts. You can't get young people out, get them involved in nature, get them in the outdoors, they'll never appreciate it. I'm thankful I got those experiences as a kid, that's for sure. Fish?
I think so, yeah.
Oh no, you caught the turtle. Stay right where you're at. Stay right where you're at. Stay right where you're at.
Oh my god.
We're gonna grab this big old snapping turtle here.
Oh my god. How did I catch it?
Come here.
Oh my gosh. I caught the turtle.
Look at that beast. That's a big snapping turtle right there. Yeah. Look at the belly on that monster. Ancient animal. Ancient animal. And that thing's probably, in this northern environment with the cold temperatures they experience, I bet he may be over 30 years old. Oh my gosh, he probably weighs 30 pounds as well. Big predator. Chompers on this guy would go through a broomstick, no problem. If he got a hold of my finger, he'd take it off. As long as you know how to pick him up. If you can hold him. Man, that's a heavy turtle. The claws dig in and anchor in. Sits on the bottom and waits for some unsuspecting prey like Emma's bait to come coasting by, and then snatch it tight. You ready? Let's watch him go. Dinosaur. Right there's a dinosaur.